Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and today we are here to do a Dynasty Startup Superflex mock draft. And here are a couple of the lads that I'll be doing it with. I got Paxton Bailey at pbailey_comedy coming to us from the Dingbat District Studios. Paxton Bailey.
I'm doing great. Glad to be on. I'm wearing my bucket hat today because I'm going to need some extra protection from the sun, from the bright future ahead that is Aaron Rodgers as vice president with RFK, baby. I can't wait. The future's
You're
bright.
coming in a little bit soft, just like RFK's chances of winning the presidential election. So try and speak up, get a little bit closer to your microphone. And yeah, thank you for being on. I also have Anthony Ramos. Are you calling from Japan, Anthony?
No. I'm not in Japan yet. I'm still at home. I leave tomorrow, so I figure, I'll whoop y'all's ass in a mock draft real quick before I go.
And you are coming to us from an actual closet where you have your Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you are coming from your Xbox. Is that accurate?
This is an Xbox Live, an old Xbox Live camera that I'm using. That's why I look like I'm on a Nokia phone.
Great. Well, you look awesome. Let's get right to it, boys. I'm going to get started. We might have a few potential guests joining us here along the way, but we're just going to go ahead and hit start. Noticing Brian is not on at the moment, but we will see if he will join us here. It is a 12-team Superflex Dynasty Startup Draft, and we are going to try and move on in. Brian has joined us. We have a few, but mostly it's going to be real people. He's going to open up with Josh Allen. The team 2 takes Patrick Mahomes. And Mr. Anthony, you're on the clock. What are you thinking here, buddy?
Well, obviously we're going QB, but I'm trying. There's two potential picks here. Let me see.
There's a guy I like a lot more than the other. Paxton Bailey, what do you think he should do here?
Right now, since we're looking at Dynasty, I'd definitely be looking at younger. Yeah, that's actually where I was looking.
You were thinking Stroud. I would prefer Jalen Hurts just because his rushing upside, and he's been a top 3 quarterback the past 2 seasons. Him and Josh Allen are the only 2 people who can say that. And I think the Jalen Hurts hate is a little bit too strong right now. CJ Stroud, fine pick. I think he's got staying power in the league. A little bit younger, I think, than Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's that young. I think he's like 24. I think Jalen Hurts is like only 26 or 27 at the moment. So I would lean Jalen Hurts, but I think CJ Stroud there is fine. BJ, not JB, goes Lamar Jackson with the 5th overall pick. So pretty chalky here so far. And I'm left to put with, honestly, a pretty tough decision, being in a position I don't love personally being in. I can, of course, take Joe Burrow, but I'm staring at Justin Jefferson here. And I get it. He might have a tough season this upcoming season if Sam Darnold's throwing him the football. But this is Dynasty. Like, I think he's going to help me win this year. And he's only 24. And people kind of forget that. People forget that he's like basically as young as some of these rookies that are coming out of college at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and take Justin Jefferson here and just ride with that offense in Minnesota. And it just looks like Paxton Bailey's up on the clock. Paxton Bailey, let you take it away. What are you thinking here, buddy?
I know what he's thinking. I know what he's thinking.
I'm kind of liking no, definitely not. I'm liking where your head is at, going wide receiver and maybe waiting on a quarterback at this point. However, no, it's too early for a running back for sure. So, dang, dude, this is tough.
What are you thinking? You got to think out loud. We're doing a podcast here, guys. Keep talking.
Right. I don't know if I want to go somewhere like CeeDee Lamb because we're at the tail end of Dak, maybe. So Dak maybe could be coming on the tail out. So I'm going to go with a safe quarterback pick, and I'm looking at someone younger. Let's see. There's not a lot there. So I'm going to go ahead with Brock Purdy with Dynasty.
Okay. Ooh. Brock Purdy, I don't mind it at all. After him, Team 9 takes Jamar Chase, and D-Boy will be up. CeeDee Lamb fell to him there. I love the Brock Purdy pick, by the way, Paxton, going back to what you just did. Great pick. I'm a big believer in his talent. He's obviously on a really good team, but I don't want to hold that against him too much because
There goes Justin
he's
Herbert.
a real good talent. And there goes Justin Herbert. So actually, he just traded for Justin Herbert from me in our Dynasty league that we're in. Funny enough, I traded Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's my number one sell candidate at the moment in Dynasty football, just because of, I think, the 3 years of basically low volume play that we're going to see him get with Harbaugh minimum. And that's if it doesn't work out. If it does work out, I think we're going to see Justin Herbert throw in the 26, 27, 28th fewest attempts per game next 3 or 4 seasons when Harbaugh's in charge. That's how it worked with the 49ers. And that's how it worked in college the last year with J.J. McCarthy. And I think that's kind of what we're going to see here. Yeah. Okay. So Uber took Anthony Richardson, which he actually does have in his real life Dynasty league that I'm in with him with. And he took Dak Prescott, 2 honestly great picks. I think Anthony Richardson's got some real staying power. Could be league winner for you this year. Definitely the riskiest of all the picks because we haven't seen him play too much. But I don't mind it, and I don't mind Dak Prescott. I think he's been kind of like an average quarterback his whole career, and he seems like he's going to be in the NFL for a lot longer, which is really what you're trying to build the foundation of your fantasy football team on at the moment. Paxton Bailey, you're back
Jamie, up,
it appears.
Let me chew your ear. Is it too early? This is my first time doing a Dynasty draft, so I'll let that be known. But is it too early in round 2 to go running back?
Is it too early to go running back right here? Who are you thinking? Christian McCaffrey?
I am.
I don't hate it because he's going to win you. He's going to win you the league, very likely next couple of seasons. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth, but yeah, I don't hate Christian McCaffrey. And look at Bijan Robinson goes right after him, and that brings me up to the plate right here. And I got Breece Hall, who I don't love really that much. I could go Jahmyr Gibbs or I could go Garrett Wilson. I like winning sooner than later, but in this mock draft, I'm kind of playing for the future because I drafted Justin Jefferson. So I'm a big believer in both of these guys' future. And just to mix it up a little bit, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Jahmyr Gibbs over Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. He was, after he came back from injury, the number 3 running back in the NFL for the last since week 12 on. So I think that's what the statistic was when he came back from his injury after the Lions bye week. He was running back 3, and I expect him to be that perennially and hit the ground running faster this year. Anthony Ramos, you're up. What do you think? You took CJ Stroud with your first pick.
So I would be playing for the future as well. I see Tyreek Hill is still on the board, but he's 30 years old. Not too much future in there. There is one person here, which is who I'm going to pick, and that's Puka Nacua, just because I feel like there's so much more potential that he has in the future of this league.
Yeah. I think right now in best ball format, so just like single season leagues, redraft leagues, he's going in the first round. So getting him here, even if it is a super flex late in the second round, I think is a great value. He broke a rookie receiving record last season. So I always like betting on guys who break records. So I think that's a great pick out of you, Anthony.
Absolutely.
That's who my eye was on in the wide receiver docket when I was in.
When you were up action, you were thinking about that?
Yeah, it was between Christian McCaffrey and Puka for sure. But I just thought it might be a little early for Puka then.
Yeah. I think Puka caught for 1,300 yards last season, and there goes Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
So, that's interesting. Garrett Wilson going after Puka Nacua. I really like Garrett Wilson. I think I would, for Dynasty, take Garrett Wilson over Puka. Garrett Wilson, I think, is 2 years younger than Puka Nacua. I think Puka's like 24. I think Garrett Wilson's 21, 22. Anthony Ramos, you're back up. You got CJ Stroud and Puka. What are you thinking now, buddy?
Since it is super flex, I am looking at a quarterback, and I'll be the first to say that whenever we were drafting for the league last year, I was very vocal about doubting this guy. and I'll be the very first to admit that I was wrong. Jordan Love is that guy. He is the future of Green Bay. I really, really am impressed with what he did, so I would definitely take him in this spot.
Awesome. I am back up on the clock. Sam Laporta went right before me, and then Tua went as well. I am going 0 QB at the moment, which is not a position I particularly love being in, and all the good quarterbacks are like kind of off the board. So I'm going like a 0 QB build in a super flex league. So here we go with that. I'm looking at a lot of guys. And since I'm just stacking my team with superstars, I'm just gonna stick with it, you guys. Signed a big contract recently. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jonathan Taylor. I think someone just asked in the chat if it's tight end premium. Tell them to shut up.
All right, so I'm going with a young buck, kind of on the same tangent that Anthony was going with. I love Nico Collins.
Yeah, it's a good pick. He's
young
going to be really good too.
And Tank Dell got injured with a real big injury at the end of the season, so that sucks. But that just means more targets are going to come to Nico at the start.
I like Tank Dell a lot more than Nico Collins. When both of those players were on the field last season, Tank Dell outscored Nico Collins in PPR and half PPR formats. And I admit Nico Collins looks great. He's a lot faster than I gave him credit for when I saw him play in the playoffs against my Browns. But I think drafting Nico Collins over Tank Dell is a crime and very stupid. But you have a chance to make it up because Tank Dell will probably come back to you. D-Boy, who is a real person, took Kyron Williams. Michael Pittman went at 11. Uber took Achan, and there he goes. He took Tank Dell. He is a big. I do happen to know that Spencer is a big Tank Dell fan as well. To be fair to you, Paxton, in Superflex or in startup or best ball drafts at the moment, Nico Collins is going ahead of Tank Dell. So you're not on an island there. You're actually betting with the consensus. It's a lot to bet on a dude coming back from an injury like that and staying the same. Not a big deal. Not a weight-bearing bone. Fibula injury, very easy to come back to. Wasn't a knee, wasn't an ankle, it was a fractured fibula. It happens. He'll bounce back from that injury very easily. I have zero concerns.
One pick that just went is Devon Achan, and I was actually going to try to get him next just because even if he doesn't shine too much in Miami, I can definitely see him doing well on another roster if he ever gets there.
Yeah. My problem with Achan is that his volume is so low. And, I get it. He could be a guy that could be the exception to the rule, but I don't think that he necessarily is. And we saw that later on in the season. He bounced on big early on and kind of fizzled out sort of towards the end. So I don't know. I'm not super big on Achan. I know Uber is, and he's basically just drafting his current Dynasty team at the moment, and a player that I drafted, but whatever. P. Bailey, you're up, and you've been looking at the screen. What are you thinking, buddy?
I have two really good people I am looking at right now. Two people I love. It might be a bias on my part, but I love them, and they're both kind of young. I'm looking at both K9 right now, Kenneth Walker, and Isaiah Pacheco.
Run out of time?
I'm running out of time, so I'm going to stick with Isaiah Pacheco. I love him too much.
Wow.
I got sniped right before me. I was going to go like absolute dumbass build, but they took it away from me. Darn it.
You were going to go Trey McBride next?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to take Trey McBride next. I have the opportunity for Kenneth Walker. I have two running backs, and Mark Andrews is sitting there for me. Drake London is their 22-year-old. He's got a new quarterback named Kirk Cousins. I think way too low on this ADP, and I think we kind of forgot about him. So I'm going to snatch him up before anyone else does. I'm going to take Drake London here.
That's where I was going to go.
Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, the oldest man on my team. I think he's 26. Drake London, who's 22. I realize this may end very poorly for me going 0 QB in a Superflex Dynasty startup. But look at the guys I got. Like, that's just hilarious. Imagine starting your league. Well, I got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Drake London, and Justin Jefferson. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, I might not even have to start quarterbacks if I'm going to score this many points. But we got a good group of quarterbacks coming around the turn here. So I'm kind of peeking at those, seeing if those will stick with me or not. Anthony, what are you thinking here?
So, again, I like a lot of young talent, and we saw a lot of young wide receivers with really bright futures, but there was one other than Puka that really stuck out to me, and that's Zay Flowers. I think that right now they're kind of building a new offense, and Baltimore's future is looking very bright. Zay Flowers is a big part of that, so I had to scoop him there.
I like Zay Flowers, young-ish. I think he's 24. Was one of like the older receivers out of that class, but looked great with Baltimore. I think he caught for, I want to say, over 900 receiving yards. Not too shabby for a rookie. Sky's the limit for him. They just added Derrick Henry to that backfield as well, which might take a little bit of pressure off Zay Flowers. Might get some heavy boxes that Zay can take advantage of. And you're back up on the board.
This is exactly where I wanted it to be. Now, this guy just got a new quarterback. He's finally about to start seeing some plays go his way. He's finally going to get away from being just a blocking tight end. Kyle Pitts, give me that all day.
Here we go.
About to have some breakout.
Boom. So yeah, that's another great value. I got Drake London there. You got Kyle Pitts, Kirk Cousins, of course, Kirk O'Chain's out there in hot Atlanta. It's going to be the next Migo. Rasheed Rice goes right before me. He fell pretty late in the draft too. Good thing he didn't follow me because I probably would have had to take him. Instead, I'm going to take my best friend who fell all the way down to me here. He was nice enough to do so. He's the future of Detroit. Jared Goff, I'm going to take here with my pick here in the, what are we in the 5th round?
Yep.
Jared Goff, future of the team. I love it. He was, I think, the 10th quarterback in this scoring format last season. And I expect him to keep on keeping on. Paxton Bailey, you're up. What are you thinking in your mind?
I'm looking at a tight end right now, and I'm deciding between two. One, a young guy that shows a lot of promise, and Dalton Kincaid on a great team that's still maybe not Super Bowl era yet, but a great team. Or David Njoku, who's just always good. He's just always good, but I think I got to go with my gut and go Dalton Kincaid.
Okay. Dalton Kincaid, and Team 9 takes their first quarterback. They went 4 wide receiver, Team 9 did. So I'm not out on a limb. Oh, and Team 11 went 4 wide receiver as well. So I might get sniped out of some quarterbacks here if
your
the
favorite
AI
quarterback just went, Jamie.
I know. I was hoping he would make it back around to me. So I just traded Deshaun Watson away in a trade. Or no, I had traded for Deshaun Watson in a trade where I traded away Justin Herbert recently, as D-Boy is picking. So he's got Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Kyron Williams, which is a great value there late in the 3rd, and DJ Moore, who's going to have a rookie quarterback. He takes Deebo Samuel, a little bit older, a little bit longer in the tooth. Will be wearing number 1 this season. That's breaking news as of today. Deebo Samuel in number 1. What do you think about that, Anthony Ramos?
I kind of like the 19. I thought the 19 looked really well on him, but I feel like number 1, I don't like whenever receivers go with single-digit numbers. It's kind of weird to me.
I kind of like it. I got to be honest. I think Miles is like having some serious internet issues at the moment. Did he even make it into this draft? I don't think he did.
He did not. No,
he didn't. But Uber did, and he's picking. He's got a pretty like classic build. Yeah, Kittle right there. That's a great pick. Yep. Honestly, he's crushing this draft. Saquon Barkley fell to him at 5'12" for some reason. Yeah, so the ADP is a little bit wonky here, but that will happen here on Sleeper. Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, Achane, Tank Dell, Saquon Barkley, and Kittle. What a great start there for Mr. Uber Match Tig. D-Boy is back up. He is also a real human. He's got Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Kyron Williams, DJ Moore, and Deebo Samuel. Not bad at all. Paxton Bailey, what are you thinking leading up to this pick here?
Leading up to this pick, I'm looking through my wide receivers once again, and at this point, unless it's just getting stolen, I'm going for my first gotta have it this season older guy, winning in the short term rather than long term. I'm looking at Mike Evans. He's just too dang good. And Baker, as we all know, we're fans of on this channel.
We are.
He's pretty old, isn't he?
Baker?
Mike?
No, Mike Evans.
He is 31, I believe, but he just signed a 3-year contract, 3-year extension.
Yep, I'm going Mike Evans.
You take Mike Evans. Brilliant. Okay. So I'm back up on the clock, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I got Jaden Reed sitting me in the face. I really like him. He feels like he's going to have some staying power going forward there in Green Bay. Christian Watson's going after Jaden Reed at the moment. That kind of makes sense. And I'm scrolling kind of down a little bit lower, and I'm not liking a whole lot of what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to have to take the best player available, Jaden Reed, as my third wide receiver. So I'll be starting Gibbs, Taylor, London, Jefferson, Reed in week 1 alongside Jared Goff and hopefully another quarterback here.
Is Christian Watson below Jaden Reed in your depth chart, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, because I just picked Jaden Reed ahead of him. So,
oh, is he still here? Okay.
Yeah, he's still available. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. I'm really happy that this guy's still on the board just because he just got traded. And everyone that owns him in fantasy is actually rejoicing. Jamie, I think you know who I'm talking about, and Joe Mixon. We got to take him there. Yeah. I mean, I feel like he's really going to have some real star power over on the Texans. I feel like he's going to be able to do something more than he was able to do in Cincinnati.
Okay, that's not a bad pick for where you're getting him. You know, late 6th round here. I think he's got maybe a couple good years left in him, but you didn't have a running back yet, and you needed like a solid one. You know, a solid guy who can just be there for you if you needed him. And I think he got it. I think he got it there in Joe Mixon. So not a bad pick at all there, Anthony. Commendable pick, I would say, for sure. And there goes Travis Kelce finally. Alvin Kamara, Cooper Kupp off the board. And Anthony, you're back up. What are you thinking here?
So I am missing a running back still, but I still have all my flex positions available. So does anybody know how old Chris Godwin is? Let's see here.
He's 28, 29, I think.
28 years old, and Baker really did have a good year there. But he is competing with one of the better wide receivers in the league.
Got some two young wide receivers, but you definitely need to keep filling that room.
I do. You know what? I am going to take a chance here. I don't care if you guys want to make fun of me for this, but actually, you know what? No, I'm going to go for the safe pick here. Let's go Chris Godwin. I was thinking of going Deontay Johnson, but I really don't trust Russell Wilson.
He just got traded
to the Panthers. I like that. I was looking at it.
That was right before we started recording. He just got traded to the Panthers.
Really? Fuck, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sorry. I literally had one note before we started. And it was like, remember to talk about Deontay Johnson because it was like breaking news as we were starting to record, and I forgot.
Motherfucker.
I'm a terrible host. Well,
that's okay.
So I'm sitting here, and hey, our boy Paxton Bailey made it back to us. Our podcast MVP, Baker Mayfield, just signed a big extension, 3-year extension over there in Tampa. I love the situation he's in. And this is actually my real life dynasty team as well. I have Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield and now Deshaun Watson in one of my dynasty leagues that was runner up last season. I do not have any of these other skill positions. However, Paxton Bailey, you're up. What are you thinking here?
To go ahead and fill my super flex up, I'm going with another channel favorite in Kirko Cousins.
Kirko Chains, a little bit older, but hey, 3-year contract over there in Hotlanta. You got to believe he's going to just run it out, especially when he keeps on getting paid $100 million guaranteed contract. Go ahead, Paxton.
I just love him. He's got the grill now. He's a whole different dude. Mm-hmm. He got his time on what was the show called? Behind the Lights?
Quarterback,
right.
It's called Quarterback.
Right. Behind the Lights was the high school.
I can't wait to see Stafford. Stafford's going to be on it. I don't know when that release date is. I don't know if they've really announced it yet. I think we're going to have skill positions on this season's quarterback. So that'll be fun. So let's see. D-Boy went Javonte Williams as his third running back. I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I like a lot of running backs who are still available at the moment. No foreshadowing or anything like that, but there's a couple running backs who are quite the value who I think are getting kind of looked past at the moment.
I'm seeing a couple of them too, Jamie.
I'm looking
at the running back depth chart, and I'm surprised that a lot of them are still there.
Yeah, I'd say
one of them a part of a over 1,000-yard duo, maybe.
What's that? Yes, I would say one of them. He wouldn't even be in the top of my list at the moment. At this part of the draft, eighth round, like if you can get a guy that'll help you win a championship this season potentially, I'd go ahead and get him. But that's just me. So there he goes, Davey Wavy. Right after Jameson Williams. Interesting pick there. So he went Terry McLaurin and Jameson Williams. Honestly, I don't hate it because Terry could have a big bounce back season and JMO could have a big breakout season in the rare year 3 breakout. But if there's a year 3 breakout, it's definitely Jameson Williams over there in Detroit for all the turmoil he's been through with injury and suspension his couple of first years in the season. And we're waiting on D-Boy here. He's probably got to look wide receiver if I had to guess.
He does not have a tight end yet.
Yeah.
There's not really too many tight ends worth a damn anymore.
Well, yeah, I was going to say I'm just going to fill the bottom of my lineup with some random tight end. Probably.
Allen, he's old, man.
Yep.
He's old and his quarterback's not going to have enough volume this season. I'm currently trying to move Keenan Allen at the moment for a rebuilding team.
Going on with that, a quarterback that's not going to have a whole lot of volume, which helps me right now. Aaron Jones with the Vikings.
Motherfucker.
You son of a bitch.
God damn.
I wanted Aaron Jones. All right, that's fine because I'm taking Amari Cooper. Obviously. Okay. Do I even need to say why? I mean, my fourth wide receiver. So my flex is going to be Jaden Reed and Amari Cooper. Drake London and Justin Jefferson are my starting wide receivers. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, starting running backs, and my quarterbacks are fine. So I actually absolutely love. I've actually never done a mock draft or a real dynasty startup draft where I didn't super emphasize the quarterbacks early on. But the guys that I got are going to be starting quarterbacks in the NFL for the next 3, 4, 5 years, easy. So you got to emphasize that over anything else because I'll have a chance to win every single season with this stacked skills team I have, you guys. Anthony Ramos, you're up. What do you think?
You know what? The fact that this guy is still on the board is kind of frustrating. He's going to have way big of a year. And he is a little bit older. He's 30 years old, but he is the best running back in Baltimore. It's not even close. Give me Derrick Henry right there.
Love it. And look what you did, Anthony. You just kind of passed on the running back position early, but in the 6th and the 8th round, you just got 2 bona fide bell cow potential starting running backs for their teams for the next 1 year, 2 years. And in the meantime, you got Kyle Pitts, Zay Flowers, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, Puka, which will give you sustained success in the future, but you get a chance to win this season. So I actually absolutely love the way this draft is shaping up for you. We disagree on a lot of things except any of the picks you've made so far. So
and we also disagree. Well, we agree on mustaches too, Jamie. That's about it.
We sure do. We sure do. And there goes my boy Nick Chubb off the board. If he would have made it back to me, you can bet your bottom dollar I would have been taking him there.
Where are we going here? Part of me really does want to go with a wide receiver here. And I'm looking at Calvin Ridley, but how much potential does this guy really have anymore,
Yep.
That's why I think I'm going to go. Screw it. I'm going to go with Cortland Sutton. I feel like he can make plays with whoever's throwing him the ball.
Okay.
Denver.
Up on the clock here. Okay. So Will Levis still available. Hilarious. And I can kind of take best player available. And I'm going to take a guy who's going to help me win a championship this season, I think. I'm going to take Jake Fergie out of the Dallas Cowboys because why not?
Not a bad pick.
Yeah, I just kind of like how you did your running backs, Anthony, where you just got a guy that not saying that Jake Ferguson is old or anything, but he's a potential kind of fade into the sunset like an Austin Hooper style after he's done with the Cowboys.
Yeah, he
but
is 25
this year, so why wouldn't I go ahead and grab that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick at all. I mean, it's kind of like a kind of how I feel about Cole Kmet. I just don't feel like he's going to go anywhere, really.
I don't know. I don't know about Cole Kmet. I wouldn't be drafting him this year or in startups just because he's got a long road, or with a rookie quarterback. Even without a rookie quarterback, he's still going to have a tough time here. And Mike Williams.
Yep. Well, he's not going to be a Charger. We already know that. And there goes Tony Pollard.
He's a good possession catcher. He's going to be someone that's going to be helping me this season catch some ground. And it was between him and Tyler Lockett. And it was just kind of a toss-up at that point because they're both great possession catchers who will get injured at some point in the season with a quarterback that might be hit or miss.
Right. Let's see here. I think I already got my next one lined up, but it could be gone, honestly. Let's see. Austin Eckler. I was wondering who was going to pick him because that is a dumb pick.
Yeah.
He went to the Commanders. He basically said, I don't want a Super Bowl for 2 more years. Let me go to the Commanders.
He also got paid not that much. He got paid, I think, $3 million a year for like a 2-year contract or whatever, like 3.7 or something like that. So he's getting paid like a backup. When he was originally signed there, I have Brian Robinson in a couple of leagues, and I was a little bit heartbroken for a second. And then I saw the contract and I was like, oh, they just got him there as some, third down, basically the Gibson role, except probably slightly better than Gibson if I had to guess, because Gibson's trash. But
it's going to be sad.
I mean, in the 9th round, why not? Oh, and Danger Russ gets taken. I honestly, if Danger Russ makes it back to me, I don't know if Paxton would have taken him or not, but
right now I'm looking at running back for the bench. Ooh, but going after a quarterback wouldn't be a bad idea. But no, I'm going with the young buck who I like out of Chicago who might. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was thinking Roschon Johnson, mostly just because of the fun name, and then I had to tell myself that's not a good idea.
No, it's not.
But I will go with another young dude who just lost Joe Mixon starting above him in Chase Brown, who had a lot of good plays towards the end of the season last year.
But Chase had a couple of good plays at the end of the season last year. Anyways, that's a bad pick. Anyway, I'm up. I'm on the clock.
At the moment, he's the starter.
And I'm going to make a good pick, actually, not a bad pick. I'm going to take Daniel, who will be the starting quarterback for the Giants this season and could turn it around.
You know what? I do need some backups here. And let me see something. Yeah, this guy's the next best pick, and I really do like what I was seeing out of him, even though the Cardinals were absolutely terrible. I did see a diamond in James Conner, so I would go ahead and take him here.
Sorry, I was scrolling through. I was scrolling through Paxton Bailey's pick, his player card, his game log from last season.
We'll call it an interesting pick, Jamie. You know what? Speaking of interesting picks, the fact that this guy is here as the last pick is absolutely insulting because I think he has the potential to be the wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville now. Give me Gabe Davis as my last pick.
And I am up to round out my team. I can really just take best player available here. I've got 4 wide receivers. I've got 2 amazing running backs. I've got 3 quarterbacks, 1 that I'll flip into a first-round pick next season. I've got Freiermuth, Waller. I'm way out on. Looking through the running backs that are available. And here's a guy we forgot about. Zamir White from Las Vegas. He's going to be the starter there. He's going to be the bell cow there. he's just way too low in ADP, and we all missed him. So that's cool. So I've got Justin Jefferson, Gibbs, Taylor, Drake London, Jared Goff, Jaden Reed, Baker Mayfield, Amari Cooper, Fergie Ferg, Dan Jones, who I'm going to flip into a first-round pick this season, and Zamir White, who is going to be the starting running back for the Raiders this season. Paxton Bailey, round out your team, buddy.
Yeah, I'm looking at just one last wide receiver. I'm looking at Wan'Dale Robinson just because he's a young talent, but I don't think there's a whole lot of upside there for a long time. Quintez Johnson's a big pile of poop. Man, there's a lot of good talent this year coming out of Green Bay in that I kind of want to look and pick up Dontavian Wicks, but I don't know if that's going to be anything there. Brandon Cooks, however, is a touchdown in the red zone every season.
Brandon Cooks, why not? Paxton Bailey, a little bit older, a little bit long in the tooth. Might not win you any games this season. So Christian McCaffrey, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones. I love that build, which just it doesn't make sense that you would draft Chase Brown there because the Bengals just picked up Zach Moss in free agency. You didn't need a running back.
That was the one piece of information that I forgot about. I forgot Zach Moss was above him.
We just didn't do any research before this, did we?
Good. So, I mean, I would have gone Dallas Goedert as a backup to Dalton Kincaid, just value-wise. Maybe you turn him into something. James Conner was still available. Jerome Ford, because why not? Gabe Davis. Yeah, there was a lot of guys that you still had on the board there that you didn't take an advantage of. Uber Match Tig, who's had an absolutely fantastic draft, wraps it off with another guy that he loves on my roster, Rashid Shaheed, as his last guy. So he's got Tank Dell McLaurin, Jameson Williams, Jacoby Myers, and Rashid Shaheed in his wide receiver room, which isn't terrible. Saquon Barkley and Achane. I don't love Achane, but I love Saquon Barkley. And then, of course, you got Anthony Richardson and Dak Prescott with his first 2 picks, so he's set there at quarterback for the remainder of the future. Paxton Bailey, tell us how you think your team ended up.
To be honest, other than the Chase Brown pick, I'm pretty happy with my team. It might not be something right up front, but it might be something in the tail end. And also, I'm often wrong, so it could be hot and I could be the best. So who knows?
Anthony Ramos, thank you for being on as well. How do you like your team? How do you like your squad?
Can we turn this into a real league and put money on it? Because I will definitely win this year and the coming years. I mean, just the talent that I have. I mean, I'm just a genius whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. You all were talking trash last year about my fantasy league. And, you know, I ended up coming in second. Should have been first, but that's neither here nor there. But I feel like this draft in the long term, in like the long game, it can definitely has the potential to be a lot, like a pretty heavy hitting team.
Yeah. The only problem is the way you've built it, you're going to be hurting at running back. So you're win now for sure. Because your running backs are going to age out. But hey, maybe you hit on a rookie. I don't think any of us took rookies in this draft either. We didn't have rookies involved. But yeah, Brian, he got Josh Allen, Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, TJ Hawkinson, Josh Jacobs, Travis Kelce, Alvin Kamara, Geno Smith, Nick Chubb, and Aaron Rodgers, Romeo Dubs. So yeah, maybe you take a shot at a rookie in the draft there, in the rookie draft coming up. So yeah, Braylon Allen, Trey Benson, going to go to the Cowboys, and I think the Chargers need a running back. Who do you think your Chargers are going to get?
It's a good question. I still don't. I mean, we just got the Gus bus. We got Gus Edwards from the.
We got Gus Edwards, 2-year contract, $3 million a year. If Gus Edwards is the starting bona fide running back in LA going forward, we should have taken him in like the second round of this draft. I don't think that's what's going to happen there. But good for Gus. He's 29. He's got a long injury history. He looks good. He's got like a crazy yard per carry, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens there. I think they're going to take a running back in this draft, Anthony. I think they're probably going to take Braylon Allen, if I had to guess. And then Trey Benson will go to the Cowboys, or I guess Corum, right, would be tied to your head coach now.
Well, as long as we can get Malik Neighbors on the first pick, then I'm cool with whatever else we do.
So you want to stay there? You don't want to trade back? Because I've heard Neighbors to LA, but Harbaugh's a pound the rock coach. He wants to run the damn football. He don't want to. I don't know, his high flying passing offense.
Yeah, but we're also losing Mike Williams this season just because of salary caps and everything. And I feel like we need to start building up another wide receiver core. I feel like Malik Neighbors can really help a lot with that. And there's just no downsides to picking him in the first round.
Great, brilliant. Well, I'm going to bring up the board one more time here for everybody to see. Tell us who you think won. Do you think it was any of us who were talking here? Do you think it was one of the bot teams? My name's Jamie Jakes. Follow Anthony Ramos on social media. Follow Paxton Bailey on social media, Dingbat District. You can follow me on social media, and mostly just please subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back soon with some more content. Thank you, and good night.